Hello, fellow junior developers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dhrubesh, and today we're going to talk about Remotion. So, I have been wondering when I would go ahead and build up a small trailer for this particular channel, and I was too lazy to learn all the animations using some softwares. So, I figured if there's a way I can do that by writing code, right? And if you're stuck in the similar condition, maybe this particular tool would help you a lot. So the trailer for the Junior Developer channel drops in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that small snippet which I made. It was really made by Remotion, and we are gonna try to build something similar. Not similar, in fact. Let's try to build that itself. So let's go to the setup and installation. You can just go to remotion.dev, and you have to download this particular thing. It could, if you're on Mac, it could easily be downloaded via home view. And of course, I'm assuming Node.js is something you will have. If the version is not in sync, you can maybe download that or use some other, I don't know, some other node package manager. So with the installation, we have two options. We can either go with npm or we can go with yarn. I prefer yarn, so I'll just go with yarn. Alright, yeah. So this is my directory where I store all the things I do with regards to YouTube, and this is also hosted on GitHub. I will link it down in the description. If you're not interested to watch the whole video, you can maybe go ahead and click on that link and run it on your local and play around with it. So I can just do can create video, and I would like to name the project as sorry Remotion. Alright, so while it's installing everything, let's talk about the video, right? So if you look closely in the video, a lot of things are happening. One, this particular line arises, and if you see, the opacity is different. Opacity goes from 0 to 1. You can notice that on the right hand side, right? And this is sequential. The top one arises first, then the right one, and then the bottom one, followed by the left one. And even if you see the text appearance, right, it's basically scaling up from 0 to 1. And the same thing is happening even in the bottom text. Of course, the colors are changed and the positions are changed, so we'll figure out something on that. So if we had to achieve this using just, with just using some web frameworks, the mental model which we will have is basically to use animation. The animation in CS is the animation property, and maybe use some keyframes around the line. And when we use Remotion, the mental model kind of stay intact, but excluding the web-related terms like animation and keyframes, they give a really good helper function. With that, you can build this whole up. So let's go back. Yeah, okay, this is done. Let me just go here and start. Okay, before that, let me just open up the code editor. Okay, yeah, I'm start. So, alright. So, cool. This is sorted. We also want the not the item. Okay, not this. Yeah, we want the drop. And we will want them to be merged. Let me just start this up here. Alright, so this is the default thing that comes up, and we're gonna try to scrape this up and create on our own. Index.js is the entry point, and yeah, so how we have register root and React the same thing for this as well. So it goes to Remotion video, which is inside the video. Alright, so the composition layer is basically the thing you see on the left hand side. It's similar to, like, if I have to compare it with an in-house tool, that would be like storybooks. How in storybooks you could see all the components and individually play around with it, right? Likewise, if you want to see individual sequence of components even in Remotion, we get an option to do that using this. So you can see everything. Yeah. So I think we're gonna scrape everything up, and let's keep the hello world at least. We don't need this. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this, and let's go to hello world. Alright. So inside hello world, I think we won't be needing this since we're gonna try to do everything from scratch. We don't need capacity, and we don't need the sequences. Transition start is not needed, and in fact logo is also not needed. Let's do this, and let's say the duration is from 0 to 10. Yeah, cool. So you can see the text here. Yeah, that is the text from here. Since it does not really have any styling in place right now, that's why it's showing this. Okay, we don't need all these things. Alright, cool. So sequence is basically which component would you want to render after which, right? So there has to be a parent component which is playing this role on managing what should come first, what should come next, right? So in our case, hello world component will be the one doing that. So to start off with, as you saw the video, the first thing is the line appearance. So we're gonna go ahead and build a line component, and then we're gonna go ahead and move to other components. So even we have to build a line component which is of 4 types, right? The top, the side. Basically the positions are different, nothing fancy. So I can just do like so yeah, but the prop which I would wanted to take would be position. Sorry. And position could have just 4 values. Since we are using TypeScript here, we can define everything. So okay, and here also we can just take in the position, and we can just return nothing for the time being. Alright, so we know that position is something we require, and we also would be needing 2 color frames. One is for the top and one is for the for the title of the junior developer. So I'm gonna go ahead and declare those right here. Those are just random colors which seem to be going well with the black background. Alright, so the next thing we would be needing is use current frame and enter color. Okay, so use current frame, as the name suggests, it gives information about the current frame, nothing fancy. We need this when we try to do some animations around it, and We also need to declare opacity because, as you saw earlier, the opacity is being changed. It appears slowly, right? So to use opacity, yeah, we can go ahead and try this formula, which is being suggested by GitHub Copilot, or the second option is to use interpolate. So I'm gonna talk about it. It takes frame as the first argument, and it takes array as well. Yeah, that's correct. This looks good. Oh, this has to close as well. All right. So what this interpolate does is it's nothing but a helper function, which suggests this thing. So based on the frames, what it will do is from 0 to 15, it will span it from 0 to 1. So what I mean by that is if you have yeah, so if it's starting with 0, the right hand side will also start with 0, and if we have to look at 7.5, it will be 0.5, and when it reaches 1, 15, it will be 1. So based on the values, it divides it, and according to that, the opacity comes in. And so that's basically what interpolate does. You can of course do this without using interpolate and using the frame itself, but the helper function is pretty good. And if they would have not provided that, I might have considered writing my own interpolate helper function. And the next thing which we would be requiring is the styles, and in the styles, CSS properties. Okay, since we are using TypeScript, we're gonna try to define as much things as possible, because we need position absolute and we need background color. So I think the background we can keep as color 2, and with this basic style, let's see what happens. Yeah, we also need opacity here. So I think I can just do this, and position by default I can just do top, and I can do this. Okay, I also have to do background as black. Oh, okay. Sorry. Position is supposed to be top here. Okay, but we are not really using position anywhere, right? So let's go ahead and go for top. And we also have to define the width and height of it. So I can just do. So since it's on the top, the width is supposed to be 100%, and we would also be needing the height. I think we can just declare a common variable as generate width, because this will be width, but this will be height when we try to make it for left or right. So I think we can keep that as 20 pixels. And we can define height as this. Sorry, this will be top. And once we have this, I think we should get something. Yeah. So as you can see, we are getting the top part. It's visible. Now let's try to do it for bottom and left hand side as well. So I think bottom will pretty much be similar to this, except except we would want it to stick to the bottom, and we can copy paste this for the right and left, and I think this could be right. And this will basically change because when you are shifting it to the left and right, it's a vertical bar, no more a horizontal bar, right? So height will become 100% and width will be the generic width which we were suggesting, and this will end up becoming right. So let's go ahead and add the sequence. So first the top comes up, then the right hand side, and then the bottom, followed by the left. So, but we don't want them to go from 0 to, let's start this from 5, and we would want this component to be mounted, right? I mean, not components as per se, but this frames to be mounted, right? So we can just add infinity here, and same goes for, okay, same goes for here. So we want to start from 5, and then let's say 10, let's say 15, and let's say 20. So let's see what we have here. Right. So I think this could be 25 and this could be 40 because we want to slow the speed a bit. And let's start from the top. Yeah. So now we have the lines in place. We'll just pause this up. And now I think we have to go ahead and build the title component. So the title component will basically have this and this. I think we have a title component right here. Yeah. So we can probably copy paste the same thing and try to recreate from it. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Spring. We got to declare that. Yeah, of course, video config as well. So yeah, I think this looks good. So of course we can have the title text, but rather than having the title color in place, since we would be using the color which we defined earlier, so we can just do that, and we can remove title color. But yeah, we also want a way to position this, right? And right now, since we have just two use cases, one is the title and one is the channel title, so video title and channel title. So we can just have a type here which would be video title or channel title. Have the type here. So use video config as the name suggests. It will give you information on the video config, and scale, we're using the scale here, and because of the scale, if you see, it goes from like 0 to it comes up, right? So the text are basically scaling up, and for that we can directly use string. String takes in all this argument. The most important ones are the config, which we are not aware of. Damping is basically what should happen when it deaccelerates, right? So when we have reached the frame motion, what should happen? Stiffness is, you can just play around it. It basically says, as the name suggests, right, how flexible it is or how stiff that is. Mass is, it's pure physics, right? If the mass is more, then it might happen that the animation you're doing, it might not be that bouncy, but if let's say the mass is low, it might be more bouncy. It's pure physics, right? So those configs and frame, I'm trying to start, if I added minus here, which basically means I'm trying to start it a bit later because we have multiple frames previously as well, right? And in here what we are doing is we're just splitting all the text. So if we are adding crash course remotion, right? So crash is a single entity, course is a single entity, and remotion is a single entity altogether. And because of this particular part, there's a delay in how they're opening up, right? So if you see here, the first one opens up and then there's a slight delay before this opens up. And this has the majority of the delay because we're using the I here, and that's the reason this comes up to be the last one to pop up to scale up. So yeah, now that we have this, we would just want to position few things. But before that, we can just add a boolean here. Is channel title. Type will be channel title, and if it's channel title, we might want to position this a bit differently. So if it's not a channel title, which means we want it to be on the top hand side, so it will be 250 pixels. And for the bottom, what we can do is, if it is, then it will be 150 pixels from the bottom. If not, we just don't want to do anything. And position absolute, we do have. I think this is looking good. So let me just add another sequence here. We can maybe start it from 60 and use title here, and it takes two text. So let's start with the junior developer, and type would be channel title. So let's see how it works out. Okay, that's weird. Oh yeah, perfect. So we have this in place now, but this should come up. So the course name comes up first, followed by the junior developer. So we can add one more text here. So this would start from 60. We can maybe let it start from 90. And the title text would be crash course Remotion, and this will be video title. And yeah, so let's change the color as well, right? So by default it's staying color 1, but let's say if it's channel title only, then we would want to do that. Otherwise, let's keep it white. Perfect. And this is how we can create a short video of anything you want, any animation you want. I'm sure you had fun in this small crash course, and more to come. So please subscribe to the channel. It will mean a lot. Like this video, share it with folks who would benefit from this. Thanks again. My name is Dhrubesh. I'm signing off.